called Ten Commandments because they knew that there was something higher than them that came in human nature that was bigger than them, that they could not control. So they had to give this justice to a supreme being. At the end of the day, we see that forgiveness is still giving, looking for vengeful actions in the act of a beholder of the supreme being, whether it is a judicator of a government, whether it is the president of a government, whether it is the oppressor themselves, whatever it is the supreme being that gives us the validation. And so we see that the importance of seeking justice comes as an important aftermath due to our future generations not having to forgive the sins of the past. 2, the nightmare of genocide is indescribable. It's the worst your imagination made to reality. We know that. But my key process is prosecuting and holding accountable the unjust elite who sat in power through the court of law, through communication, through remembrance, through learning, through any means that applies document and safe, securable justice that ensures the self-actualization of tomorrow for our future generations. Number 4, without justice, peace is meaningless and forgiveness becomes an everyday obstacle that without safety and security is inherently impossible. To ask our children to forgive consequences moving from us to them is not universal. There is no universal standard to forgiveness. There is no how-to guide to forgive. Everybody forgives differently. And when you forgive differently, you don't have the community that you speak of. There is just an interpersonal forgiveness that comes within themselves. The community healing comes from the legislation that protects them to not be able to be wronged again in the future. And number 5, just like there are diverse occasions that create genocide, forgiveness has no universal standard to be understood in practice. People find their way to cope and forgive because that is what forgiveness is. Reconciliation leading to self-actualization of forgiveness. Forgiveness secures the future of the person while justice molds the future of the nation and community self. If you don't stand permanently to combat genocide, you will keep losing this battle the rest of your life. Quoted by Yuk Chang in the aftermath of the Cambodian genocide that happened from 1974 to 1979. There were scars on people that they could not get away, and there's scars on people in genocides in Rwanda and other countries that they cannot get away. But it is the insurity and the safety and security that tomorrow those children will not bear those same scars. It is because the justice system provides them and allows that because they have broken down the unjust system and created the new justice system of tomorrow so that they can be able to walk in that land of milk and honey. There's 6. Government who partake in genocides are, yes, unjust. You need a standard of justice in order to understand how to forgive. No sense of order equals transgression, and without transgression, there's no forgiveness. Number 8, when the group who committed this crime has no power to do it again, or you are justifiably given power to play checks and balances on them, then there will be no reoccurrence of genocide. Number 9, safety and security breeds just an essential part of forgiveness and the reconciliation process. Justice aids and provides this safety and security and provides grounding and a standard that leads to not have to generationally forgive me one generation after another. Forgiveness allows trust to be broken later to know justice, to ensure and uplift the community, to not be crossed, and broken promises are met with equitable consequences to restore order rather than allow trust and benefits being broken by forgiveness. So how many inches are you going to give somebody before they take a yard and burn you on it? And then they oppress you because your grass is greener than theirs. How much are you going to give them before you start to put your foot down? Just like Mamie Till Bradley, just like the mother of Trayvon Martin, and say the sins of yesterday will not be the same sins of tomorrow. They will be accountably and justifiably recognized so that they will not be met again. And finally, justice provides documentation, representation, protection, and security to be able to graduate and walk among a new tier. Pharaoh forgives and allows the Jews to leave after resulting in broken trust. And we saw a war at Red Sea. As I told you later, it recapped into the independence of them themselves, the 10 Commandments, because they knew that humans themselves were not angels. Humans themselves needed laws. Humans themselves needed documentation. They needed checks and balances, a restorative order to make sure that things tomorrow don't happen the same way that they did today. And the only way that the negative today of Davis and Elkins feasibly sees this is through the acts of justice. And we urge you, audience, for a negative ballot. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thanks to our colleagues. Thanks to the coaches. Thanks to all of you for coming. We appreciate it. Have a good and safe evening. Thank you all.
Oh my goodness. I got you. I'll let you know.
I'll let you know. We'll let you know. Right at 8 o'clock sharp, just like on the class. Hey, I'm alive. Say, how you feeling? I can walk. It's sharp. I'm not good. What do you want me to do about the class? Just come by my office if you're on campus. I can put you on it. Thank you. 303 alcohol.
My first one, I was nervous for the first one. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, for my first one, I was pretty nervous. But not gonna lie. Appreciate it. Yeah, so second semester is when I like really get into it. Yeah, I got to stay. Now that we just got that first night, I got to stay.
Well, I'm proud. You know, that's good.
Really good.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was interesting.
I liked your side.
Yeah.
That was my opinion.
Yeah, it could have kept going and going and going, you know.
Yeah.
It's so fun. You can make me speak differently.
Get out of here. Oh my God. I said that to her when I was Thank you. But thank y'all for coming.
How do you think you guys did?
I think we did pretty good. I feel like it could have kept going like forever, honestly. Like, if we really would have just sat there like debated on it could have kept going and going and going, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think there was like...
I don't think there was much they could have said there.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, it goes back to, you know, we're all human here.
Yeah,
and
it
when
could have
you're
went.
human,
I liked your argument.
you can't say that you're not thinking of justice. You don't really being human. Like, come on now. Like,
I can say I'm sorry, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it again.
and that's why I brought up the point about wholeheartedly forgiving.
When Dad brought up like at the end, like the 10
Nice
commandments,
job,
like,
Calvin.
people need order. Like it's from the beginning of time.
Oh my God.
People have created order. Like that's a big thing.
Yeah, you can. Y'all can.
Even if I suck.
That's the culture again? Yeah, this was my first one. What's up? Appreciate it. Thank you for coming. What's up? Oh, yeah. That is yeah. Yeah, Dad. Yeah. I'll be right back.
She's trying to like use
Let's get this right here. Get the flowers in the background.
the way
Oh, yeah, look decent.
her thing.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I've been running for. I'm just working with him.
You're good at keeping questions.
Yeah. Listen, the best thing I've ever been told was answer the questions you whisper.
That's how I am every time. I'm like, I like you guys, but those questions are too hard right now. So let me answer the one that I really would like to, instead of that hard critical thinking one that requires me to. I'll get back with you on that.
Yeah. We can talk about that one later. When y'all were gone, I just hit me up on the side. But it was really cool.
I'm glad you guys got a good turnout. Probably one of our best turnouts.
That was a great turnout. For this
I'm
one.
glad you guys could bring out the best of this.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people tell us right now. They was like, "Oh, we definitely like it. How come y'all?"
They was like, when you guys have another one?
Yeah.
So just might as well book y'all calendars for next year already, then, because y'all probably have to come back.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
We hope so.
That was really cool.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be different people talking.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you can't have different people.
Yeah, we wish to come back.
Yeah, send them to the group. We know
Part
they're
Speaking of injustice, the U.S. government.
But yeah, no, we need to do something, maybe the year after that or something. Yeah, something. Or maybe not even to debate, maybe just to
Or maybe not even here, but maybe
do something. Yeah, we can go to that. I think we have to.
We won't be going on our tours and nothing.
Yeah.
When we come to see y'all, it's just y'all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I don't
Keep you first.
Be like, I already got some friends there. I don't need no tour guide.
Yeah, no tour.
Yeah, send you.
Look, I got 4 requests. Mr. Congo man. Be like, I got 4 requests here. I don't know who you are. Yeah, I don't know who you are. He said he's gonna take me to the Congo.
I'm actually big fan. This way.
Really? Doing like the scuba divers and stuff.
Oh, we're doing this. We have a league. We're landlocked.
I used to have a swim coach that after he was done coaching me, he went to go to the Navy SEALs from I was like, bro, the first bomb I see, I'm like, yo, I actually saw one. I'm back up. I didn't think we were going to see one of these things.
Like, I completely agree.
I enjoy doing that. Like, sir, you've been in 6 weeks of basic training. I don't care. I want to look at no bomb in the water. Bomb water. Don't mix together. I'm confused. How many fish are going to get killed? I think we can survive this.
So what y'all got for tomorrow?
Yes. You guys going to any class?
Are they going to any class?
My class in the morning.
And I saw a student, like,
And then she's telling me I gotta go to this committee meeting. I'm not in the committee. Why do I gotta go? That's why I told you guys. I'm like, I'm not going. Yeah. So why am I gonna go to the voting committee?
And then I think in the
So I know how people are voting?
After Jeremy's afternoon class, when 3:45, we'll go up to Pickleball.
Because I have like a sports team.
Oh.
Not even because I know them, because I know people who know them.
What about like when you come back? What are you planning for the when you come back? What time y'all leaving?
Wednesday.
Oh, okay. We could do that tomorrow.
We could probably do like a movie or something,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah.
they get back.
Yeah,
we
most
could watch a
definitely.
movie or something.
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
I go,
All right, so then I'll see y'all tomorrow.
I showed Rickard in the locker room. I'm like, I have to
I like
send
that.
this.
When you came in, I was like, ooh. I was like, Congo man, huh? Congo man, all these bonitas you had on here? Yeah, in the front row. Man, you came in here with your scarf and everything, you should have been like, you should have been like, oh, wow.
It's like recording.
Wait, I'm remembering. Hold on. I forgot.
What? The beautiful? Oh, how are you?
Hey, you should have been like,
Something about
you should have been like, what they're saying? Yeah, and then you could have explained. Yeah, exactly. It was in Spanish. You wanna go back on another tour? I'll take you on a tour in the morning. Where is she? I don't know. She was supposed to come.
She might have had choir practice or something.
Yeah.
You got your phone on you?
Yeah, I do.
You want to get one more pick? Yeah. Sure, you get this pick of us, and then we get a pick with you or whatever. Just one more at a team.
Yeah, she also is in like theater and stuff like that, so they probably had theater practice. Yeah. Honestly, you didn't get your time in before you leave. I don't blame you. You can go in there just like that.
Gassed up.
Oh yeah. Hey, you want his be like I'm on a campus tour for more.